What does handedness mean for hockey players? Why are most people wrong about handedness in hockey? Well, actually, you might not be wrong. It's just that a lot of people don't understand what handedness in hockey means. Now, there are multiple ways to shoot. In case you did not know, you can shoot from the left side and you can shoot from the right side. However, 2/3 of the NHL shoots on their left side. But about 85 to 90% of the entire world is right-handed. So why is this? Why most people are wrong about handedness in hockey is simply because they don't understand what they mean by handedness in hockey. Handedness in itself is different than what side you shoot on. If you're a right-handed person, that doesn't mean that you shoot with a stick that is labeled right. Or if you're a left-handed person, that doesn't necessarily mean that you shoot with a stick that's labeled left. These labels meaning what you see on the hockey sticks when you're at a pro shop. However, this is where we get into the difference between handedness and the side you shoot on. So whenever you see a right or left hockey stick, that doesn't mean it's a right-handed hockey stick or a left-handed hockey stick. Because I believe that confuses people into thinking that if you're a right-handed individual, that you should be using a right hockey stick or a left hockey stick. The curve of the hockey stick determines what side of the body is your strong side versus weak side. For instance, if you have a stick that is labeled a right curve, then your stick strong side will be on your right side, and your weak side should be on your left. Now, if you have a stick that is labeled left, then your strong side should be on your left, and your weak side should be on your right. When holding a hockey stick with a left curve, the curve actually curves right when held out in front of you. This means that your strong side will be on your left side, and your weak side will be on your right side. When holding a hockey stick with a right curve out in front of you, the curve should curve left. This means that your strong side will be on your right side, and your weak side will be on your left side. Again, kind of confusing. If you look at a video of most NHL players, you'll see that their top hand has a much tighter grip on the hockey stick than the bottom hand. That is because the top hand is the primary controller of the hockey stick. Let's recap. First, handedness does not equal your shooting side. Second, left or right curves determine which is your strong and weak side. Last, the top hand is the primary controller of the hockey stick. With these in mind, let us take a look at ways that you can hold a hockey stick by reviewing the two schools of thought. The first, and by far the most common, is that the top hand should be your dominant hand. So, if you're a right-handed person, your right hand should be at the top of your stick. That means that you should be using a left-handed stick, or what they call a left-handed stick. Of course, that really means just a left-handed shot. You shoot from your left side. And if you're a left-handed person, then you would use a stick where you shoot from the right side, or what people call incorrectly a right-handed stick. Now, there's some advantages to this. The first and the most commonly stated is that you shoot blocker side most of the time. For right-handed individuals, of course. Because your top hand is at the top of the stick, you'll be using a left-handed shot. And if you're going straight on at a goalie, you'll be shooting blocker side, which some people believe is an advantage over shooting at the glove each time. This means that somebody who is right-handed would shoot left. Somebody who is left-handed will shoot right. Now, it should be noted that if you are a left-handed person, you will be shooting on the glove side because you'll be using a right shot. Another advantage for using your dominant hand at the top of the stick is that that hand will always be on the hockey stick. Whether or not you're fishing for the puck with one hand, powering around somebody, blocking them out with your other hand, your top hand or your dominant hand will always be the one controlling the puck. And by what we've learned or what we can see about handedness, that is simply the hand that is better at learning tasks, or they have better motor skills than your other hand, or those motor skills come easier than the other hand. If you want to learn more about top hand control, I have a video in the description below discussing why it is so important for your top hand to be the control hand. Now, before I get into the second school of thought, there is sort of a third school of thought that I want to quickly cover and just kind of say that I've never preached it, I've never taught it to anyone, and I don't believe that it is an effective or efficient way in controlling the hockey stick. And that is where your control hand is your bottom hand. That typically limits you, number one, whenever you take one hand off the stick, it makes it more difficult to do things such as stick handle in tight spaces, which most NHL players are able to do with one hand on the stick, or most players should be able to do with one hand on the stick. But it's not an impossible way, and some people do. I just wanted to touch on it and say that I don't personally teach that way, but it is a method. The second school of thought is that your dominant hand goes on the bottom of the stick. Now, do not get this confused with your control hand being at the bottom of the stick. As we just mentioned, I do not teach that. What we do teach is that you just have to adapt with your left hand, if you're a right-handed person, to be the main control or driver for the hockey stick. Now, I'm not saying that this is better than the other one, but there aren't many advantages to this. Again, you'll be shooting, for the majority of people, about 85 to 90% of course, right-handed individuals will be shooting on the goalie's glove side. Because again, if you're a right-handed person and you're using this second school of thought, you'll be shooting right-handed. And if you're a left-handed individual, you'll be shooting left-handed. You should train whatever hand is at the top of the hockey stick to be the control hand or the primary driver of the hockey stick. So, to finally answer the question, why are people wrong about handedness in hockey? The first part is that handedness and what side you shoot on aren't really the same thing, and there's multiple options. The second and the major point is that the most important thing about holding a hockey stick is knowing that the top hand should be the primary driver of the hockey stick. So let's get back to the question at hand. Why are 2/3 of NHL players left-handed? 85 to 90% of the world is right-handed. The most commonly taught way to hold a hockey stick is for your dominant hand to be at the top of the hockey stick. Putting those two things together means that the majority of people should be shooting from their left side. Every 10,000 subscribers I get on this channel, I will be giving away one free full set of gear. Helmet, skates, gloves, chest protector, everything. All you have to do is subscribe to my channel and comment on this video. It actually really doesn't matter what hand you are. It just goes with preference on what side you prefer to shoot on. Strong side shots for people who shoot on their left side go to the blocker of a goalie, for most goalies. And strong side for people who shoot on their right side go to the glove. Some people find that shooting blocker is an advantage over shooting on glove. It doesn't matter, you decide. The other thing to take into account is, do you have a favorite player maybe you want to emulate? Do you want to shoot like Alexander Ovechkin with a right-handed shot? Then do it. Just train yourself to be on that side. If you're a parent trying to shop for a child, I would suggest starting with just a straight blade and see how they switch around, and they will probably figure out whatever way is most comfortable for them. Now, if you already have selected and you've grown up with one side, I would not really recommend changing. I would just recommend understanding the main point in this, and that your top hand should simply be your primary driver. That's a big thing I find that immediately helps improve everyone's game. If you're a young kid, you might be able to switch hands because you have enough time. But if you're an experienced adult player who has been shooting on the right side their entire lives, I would not recommend making the huge change into going and shooting on your left side. If you do though, that would be insane. And all my hats off to you. Now, if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you'd like to see more of this content. Until next time.